to the Journey Chez Chem. Well, today we're so excited because we get to do the third of the 3 labs in the lab marathon. Well, please do the warm-up questions to the best of your ability, and I'll be right back. Number 1 asks for the percent error. And the equation, we are going to use that numerous times, so you need to make a special note of this in your notes and maybe put it in the beginning of the composition notebook. It is the absolute value of the experimental value, which we will determine in the lab, minus the theoretical or calculated value, divided by the theoretical or calculated value, times 100. And in order to do number 2, we want to find the theoretical value. And the theoretical value for the percent of oxygen in potassium chlorate, this is my formula, and potassium has a mass of 39.1, and chlorine is 35.5, and we have 3 oxygens, which is 3 times 16.0. And remember, oftentimes we make mistakes at this point, so I write them again. 39.1, 35.5, and 48.0 gives me 122.6 grams per mole. Now, to determine my experimental value of the oxygen, I take the 4 oxygens, which was 48.0, divided by the total AMU, 122.6, times 100. And that gives me a percent of oxygen of 39.1517. And we always take percents to the tens place, just like AMUs. And we have 39.2% of oxygen in potassium chlorate. And that's how you do number 2. Now I'm so excited because we're going to meet up in the lab. See you then. Here we are at the Bunsen burner. I just love this part. I turn on the gas and then I quickly need some spark to light this Bunsen burner. Took me a few sparks to get that one going. Now, I have my cleaned crucible and cover, and I'm just going to put it on the clay triangle, and then I will heat this for 5 minutes. And that will clean off all of the combustibles or anything that could be on there. And once I've done that, then I cannot touch it anymore because my fingerprints have oils on them, and I do not want to add mass because this one is graded on accuracy. 20% of the overall 100% will be determined by how close I get to the theoretical value. And in the classroom, the teacher would be standing by the scale when they're being weighed and the final weight was taken to be recorded. So no funny business goes on. We have to get the correct numbers. Now, since I'm doing this with you, then it's however well that with you and I do this together. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Now, we've been heating this for 5 minutes and it's time to cool it down. I'm going to turn off the gas and I am going to remove the crucible and cover from the clay triangle. And I have 2 forceps in order to do that, or tongs. And I will remove the top and place it on the lab station because these tables are made to be able to withstand these heats. It's very, very warm. And I will put them down and then I will wait for them to cool. And I will see you at the scale. Well, here we are at the electronic scale. Let's find out what mass our crucible and cover have. My scale is at 0, and I will place my crucible in the center of the pan and my top. And I must remember that I can no longer touch the crucible and cover. And my mass is 29.59 grams. 29.59 grams. I'm going to record that. Now, I need 1 gram of the potassium chlorate. And I always must check my containers, make sure that I have the correct compound. And this is my potassium chlorate. Now, I am going to remove the crucible cover and see that it's 18.10 without the cover. And I'm going to add until I get 19.10. I will add the potassium chlorate. And I have a little bit too much. And I have a container because we never put materials back into the original container. And therefore, I'm taking a little bit away. A little more. As long as I don't touch it and I use other things to hold on to the crucible. Oh, that's very fortunate. 19.10 grams is the mass, and therefore I have 1.00 grams of the potassium chlorate. And now we get to go over to the Bunsen burner. I'll see you there. Now, before I light the Bunsen burner, I would like for you to see what this looks like. And if you look inside the crucible, you will see that it's just a crystalline surface, just like as if it was table salt. Just like table salt. It's just a white crystal. But we needed to see what it looks like before we begin to heat. Now, I will turn on the Bunsen burner. You know that's my favorite thing to do. But I will put the cover on the crucible as well. Then, for safety purposes, I just remove the Bunsen burner from the ring stand, and I'm going to turn on the gas, get my spark going as quickly as possible, and then I will burn this material. Now, I am going to slightly lift the lid of the crucible off, the cover. I will lift off the cover so that the oxygen can readily escape. Now, we are going to heat this for 10 minutes, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. I decided to come back before 10 minutes because I wanted you to see the oxygen coming off of the crucible. The white smoke. And also, can you see the bubbling going on in there? There's some bubbling going on in there. Well, I will try to tip it so that you can see that it's liquefying in there. And it's just bubbling away. Now I'm going to put the crucible cover on again and allow it to burn for the 10 minutes. I'll see you in a moment. Here we are after 10 minutes, and I have been saying that this is burning. It is not burning. We are heating the material. We are decomposing the potassium chlorate, and so we are only heating. If we were burning it, then we would have oxygen and we would actually be taking the compound and adding oxygen to it in order to burn it. That's not what we're doing. We are decomposing the potassium chlorate, and therefore I am only heating the material. I was calling it burning, and that's just not the case. So anyway, now I will remove the heat, and I will separate the crucible from the cover and put them on the lab station carefully. We do not want to break anything of these porcelain crucible and cover, and I will cool it, let it cool, and I will see you at the electronic scale. We are decomposing. Here we are at the electronic scale, and I will place my crucible on the center of the pan, but I wanted you to see the inside, to see how it has formed the crystals on the sides of the crucible, and the bottom of it is somewhat glassy in appearance. And now I will place it on the center of the pan. With the cover. And my mass after my first heating is 30.19. 30.19 is my mass after the first heating. And now I'll go back for my final heating, and I'll see you at the Bunsen burner. Here we are getting ready for our final heating. Well, I will place the crucible back into the clay triangle, and I will heat it one more time for 5 minutes. And the mass should be very close to what I had originally after the first heating. Again, I remove the Bunsen burner from the area where my crucible is so I don't knock anything down, because sometimes I do things like that. And I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And therefore, I light my Bunsen burner, and we are going to heat it for 5 more minutes. And I will see you after 5 minutes. Now we have completed the 5 minutes. I will stop the Bunsen burner and cool the crucible and cover. I will remove the cover and place it on the lab station. And I will also remove the crucible and allow it to cool. And I will see you at the electronic scale. Now we are on a final massing of the crucible and cover. And I will place the crucible in the center of the pan, and I did start at 0, and the cover. And the mass is 30.19. 30.19 grams, so it did not change any from when I heated it the last time. And that's actually good. That shows me that I'm consistent and precise. 30.19 is my final mass. Now, from my original mass of crucible cover and contents, I will subtract this final mass, and the difference will be the mass of the oxygen lost. And from there, you can get the percent error. And remember, we always take percents to the tens place. Well, that was some fun. You know how much I just love lab, and I did a lot of the waiting for you, so you didn't have to wait. And you know, it's sometimes difficult to be patient. But you saw what a crucible and a cover look like, how we heated them on the Bunsen burner, how we determined experimentally the mass of the oxygen lost. And that was some fun, and thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye!